Tonight, we're talking to those who are struggling to figure out what is the best price for your property rental if you're using what we call the midterm rental strategy. Hello, hello. My name is Dr. Rachel Gainsbrugh, and I am obsessed with all things short-term rentals, revenue streams, and helping you navigate your career, real estate, and your busiest and most wonderful seasons of life. So grab your coffee, get comfortable as you get ready to learn and grow with me. This is the Luxury Short-Term Rental Doctor podcast. Okay, so hear me out, guys. The midterm rental strategy is so powerful. I absolutely love it, but we are covering our 3 insider tips. I want to cover for you our 3 tips to analyzing what you need to know prior to pricing your property. Okay, so let me level set. When you are investing in real estate, when you're investing in a rental property on your own, I love rental property investing, especially for those who are looking to really generate a certain amount of cash flow. For those of you who are into passive income, I'm here for you. I fully support you every step of the way. But here's the deal. If you go that route, think about it this way. You're going to see something like, I would say, an extra $75 a month, $75 a quarter if you link up with, say, a larger entity where you are crowdfunding your real estate investing strategy. Okay, so if you are actually looking for serious income, not just passive income, I'm talking to the tune of an extra $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 and more per month. It's going to fall under a little bit more of the active income side, but it doesn't have to add any more time on your calendar. Okay, so we'll just break it down for you. There are 3 ways that we can invest in rental property and create an income. First and foremost is your tried and true long-term rental strategy. Now, long-term rentals are those properties that, say, you purchase a property, you put it out there on Zillow and allow an individual or a family to rent it out for a year. It's completely unfurnished. That is your long-term rental. A short-term rental, on the other hand, is kind of like an Airbnb property where you're renting it out nightly or 2 nights at a time. And this specific property is considered a short-term rental, and you typically furnish that property because if someone's going to rent out your property for 2 nights, think about it this way, they need it to be furnished, right? They're not going to move in furnishings and then for 2 days or 2 nights and then move the furnishings back out, right? Just wouldn't make any sense. So there are a variety of use cases for short-term rentals. There are those who are looking to attend a wedding over a weekend, or those who are visiting family that's maybe going through a medical procedure out of town, or those that are visiting an area for a competition, so there are a variety of reasons for short-term staycations, just so many reasons. Okay, so hopefully that you're picking up what I'm putting down. If this is confusing to you, drop your questions in the chat. I am here for it. But now here is the secret sauce. Let's talk about midterm rentals. I absolutely love midterm rentals. Midterm rentals are properties that can either be furnished or unfurnished, right? So it can be furnished or unfurnished. We like ours to be furnished because we can make 3x what you would expect when the properties are furnished versus properties that are unfurnished. I am all about furnishing these properties. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so furnished properties are my go-to for midterm rentals, and your midterm rental clients, I'm gonna get over this cold, guys, I assure you. Your midterm rental clients, there are a variety of them. You have right now we're going through a political cycle, so political campaign staff can be midterm rental clients. You have travel nurses can be midterm rental clients. Higher education, government contractors. There's so many different individuals that need furnished midterm rental housing. They're coming to an area to train as a pilot, for instance. We've served those. They're coming to an area to work on a data center that's being built in our market. Those can be midterm rental clients as well. Our bread and butter is working with the temporary housing agencies, the insurance companies who are helping their insured families who are displaced from their home due to disasters such as a water pipe that burst, a home that caught on fire, such as a fallen tree. We had a family who actually had encountered a lightning strike that turned into a fire. We have a family that is right now here with us. Their lease expires with us on June the 10th, and we reached out to the temporary housing agency on Friday to let them know, hey, we're getting a lot of inquiries. Are they going to need to extend? Are they going to need to extend? Well, hint, hint, hint. We had already reached out to the family and asked if they needed an extension, and the answer is a resounding yes, they need an extension. And so, since they had booked us initially on the Airbnb platform, we went ahead and gave them an offer to go ahead and book us directly because it's summer seasons. Our prices have peaked, but we can make them a deal and give them a better pricing and still generate more revenue for us because more of the dollars are coming to us, right? So that is the power of the midterm rental strategies. Here's what I love about serving this clientele, and then we're going to dive into my 3 strategies, guys. What I love about serving this clientele is, number one, we can take them off of platform once they have booked the first month. If Airbnb sent them our way, guys, fine. Fine. They did their job. They sent them our way. We're good to go, right? However, the subsequent months, if I am providing them an amazing service, those subsequent months need to come to me. Okay, there's no reason that I should be giving Airbnb those bookings month after month after month. So it would behoove you, my friends, to make sure that all of the subsequent months can come to you, because at the end of the day, here's the deal. One of our members, they had a booking from Airbnb that came in. The guest paid $13,000, or the insurance rather paid $13,400, something along those lines. And guess how much was paid out to the host, which is our member? It was closer to $10,400, something along those lines, right? So that is massive. That is really, really massive, right? So we want to make sure that those subsequent months can come to us. So what we did is we worked with them to create a direct booking site. We did a hack to get that direct booking site up and running in 20 minutes. And once that was up and running, guys, I kid you not, the extension equated to $16,800, something along those lines, and we have the receipts. And guess what? The guest paid $16,800 and the host got paid $16,800. That is the power. Some of us are optimizing for things that just shouldn't exist, right? Some of us are like, okay, I've got one underperforming property. Let me go ahead and get 3 more of these underperforming properties, right? That is not the vibe. Guys, I have been called out over these last couple of weeks for trying to optimize things that just shouldn't exist. That's a no-no. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that in your life as well. However, what is it? What is it that is in my hand right now? What is an asset that I have access to right now that I can optimize and make sure that I'm squeezing as much juice out of that property? And that is our midterm rental property, optimizing it, getting it a direct booking link, all of those things to make sure that we are giving ourselves a raise without adding more workload to our lives. Okay. So hopefully that level sets you a little bit. All right. So let's dive in, guys. What are the three insider tips that I want to share with you in terms of pricing? Okay. So in terms of pricing, insider tip number 1, I love to use dynamic pricing on my short-term rental listing in order to make sure that I'm staying competitive in the marketplace. Because here's the deal. When it comes to midterm rental guests, the midterm rental clientele, those who are looking for your property, those who are looking to stay in them specifically, I would tell you 9 times out of 10, those specific guests are looking on the Airbnb platform. They're looking on Airbnb. Like it or not, they are looking on Airbnb. Airbnb is the Google of furnished temporary housing. That's it. Just keep that in mind. Airbnb is the Google of temporary furnished housing. So we use a tool, and I just interviewed the co-founder of Price Labs, which leverages dynamic pricing in order to price your property based on what is going on right now in your market. What is currently going on? What is the demand looking like? What is the vacancy looking like? And let me give you a little bit of story. So story time. I remember when we purchased our very first property. It was absolutely amazing. We were back in 2018. We were making close to an extra $6,000 a month, and I thought, guys, I thought you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I had it made in the shade. And so my goal was, okay, this is great. How do I do this again? And how do I do it faster and smarter and avoid some of the pitfalls? We work with a couple contractors that weren't the most trustworthy. And so whenever I want to go faster, guys, I find a coach. Okay. And that's what I did. I found a real estate coach back in 2018. Her primary focus was on I would say storage facilities, but what I knew of her, she was local to my market and she was the expert with negotiations. So I wanted to hone in on her negotiating skills and her ability to create situations and create your own deals, right? Who would like to create their own deals? So I got with her, and within a couple of months, we were able to close on a couple more properties. So worked out great. She walked me through a few of the negotiation tactics and strategies that were available in that time back in 2018. I thought, wow, this is fantastic. So that second property, this is one that was a little bit larger than the first property. The first property we were making extra $6,000 per month, which was amazing. Like I said, the second property, I thought to myself, you know what, this property I think can make, about $9,000 a month. So maybe an extra, 7,500 or so, or I think 9 to 10,000 a month. Dare I say 10,000? 10,000 is very lofty because in my head it's like, okay, no one has $10,000 a month to spend on rental property, right? So I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, an extra 10K per month would be absolutely amazing. Just, oh my goodness, like it would really move the needle for us because on two properties, two doors would exceed my W-2 paychecks, which was like, oh my gosh. So I remember getting the property set up, setting the property up online as well, marketing the property, and thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to turn on this dynamic pricing tool called Price Labs. And once I turn on this dynamic pricing tool, what I'm going to assess is if the pricing is correct or not. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's incorrect, sometimes it takes a little bit of training and so on and so forth to make it happen, right? All right, so I went ahead and turned it on, and I was thinking, okay, anywhere from 8 to 10K per month, not quite 10K, right under 10K. Well, the property got priced at $28,000 that first month. And I was like, okay, there is something clearly wrong. I had already set my expectations that sometimes it overshoots and sometimes it significantly undershoots. So I was going to have to turn off the AI tool, the dynamic pricing tool, and train it. I went to turn off the tool to train it. Guess what? The property got booked. It got booked at $28,000. And then guess what? It got booked again and again and again. So it's averaging about $21,000 per month on this property whose mortgage is $2,500 per month. And I remember that first booking, and I don't think I slept that night, guys. I don't think I slept that night because I had to ask myself, Rachel, you were about to shut this operation down. You're about to limit this pricing down to $8,000 or $9,000 a month. That's where I was going to price it. I was going to change the base, change the ceiling price to make sure that it stays down to, $8,000 or $9,000 a month. And that's when I asked myself, well, where else am I playing small in my life? Where else am I playing small in my life? Because initially, I'm here using my worldview. I'm using my self limiting beliefs. The fact that I'm a little girl from Haiti with all the struggles. I'm using the context of my life, all of my money trauma, thinking to myself, this is where the property should be priced. And that's why they say, you don't know what's in other people's pockets, right? You don't know what's in other people's pockets. And I struggle with that to this day. And so it's something that I need to overcome. Someone found value in what it is that we had to offer. They found value so much so that it blew my mind wide open, right? And so that was our foray. That's the beginning of us working with temporary housing agencies. That's the beginning of us working with insurance companies and corporations. And that's when AirDNA found us online. Looking at the numbers, they're like, these numbers are outrageous. And that's when a casting company from Mystic Arts reached out and asked us to be on their TV show, where we accepted an all cash offer on our property. Just a few months later, just a year after it was purchased, it was worth double the price. So a lot of people think that billionaires are billionaires because they're the smartest people. I've met some billionaires. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not always the smartest people. It's timing, guys. Sometimes it's timing, and it's all about taking massive action when opportunities present itself. And I love, love, love this strategy because the timing is perfect. The timing is now. Right now we understand that the temporary housing agencies, the insurance companies, they're allowing busy professionals, extremely busy doctors. I was just on a call with a physician's assistant who got an inquiry for a 12-month lease and that would bring in an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month into her pocketbook, right? For a 12-month lease. Like, how ridiculous is that, right? And so it's all in the timing. We've been doing this since 2018, and I hope it's something that we can continue to do for the foreseeable future. But for those of you who are hopping onto this call right now, recognizing that, what, this is very interesting. This is something that I never heard of. Tap in, guys. Tap in. Now is the time. All right. So first and foremost, like I said, dynamic pricing. Step one is dynamic pricing. With dynamic pricing, you're going to gauge what is the demand and what is the supply in your market right now. Because just like a short-term rental guest is looking for a property, that pool also is the supply for your mid-term rental guests. Okay. So keep that in mind, my friend. Very, 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 very important. All right. Number two. Number two, calendar maintenance. Now, one of the things that I talk about incessantly is once I have turned on my dynamic pricing tool, I like to use an additional listing. Like, is this being recorded? I think it's being recorded. I'm just going to spill the tea, guys. I'm going to be fully transparent. I know Airbnb is probably going to come for me, and they have a lot of hoopla around this. But at the end of the day, listing description, duplicating our listings is the way that we go. So we like to host a short-term rental listing on the platform, and we will duplicate that listing and make massive changes to the photos, the order photos, the content, the listing description, and have a duplicate listing that provides us the ability to host those month-to-month stays, okay? So on that duplicate listing, we have month-to-month stays where the pricing is listed there, and it is quite reasonable. It's like a monthly discount that we apply to what we anticipate the peak of the short-term rental listing would look like. So for example, if on our short-term rental listing, we're expecting that the booking would be $10,000 for a 30-day stay, where, well, we would apply a nice discount if someone wants to stay for 30 days, to start having those conversations and to attract those guests, have them wanting to come in. Okay, so right there in the Airbnb platform or in your dynamic pricing platform or in your channel manager, these are tools that we use to automate our business. We add the discounts into those tools so that they take care of that. Okay. And just because we're adding a discount doesn't mean that that's where we land, right? If there are extenuating circumstances, we can definitely I would say provide add-ons. And add-ons would be pet fees, add-ons, maybe additional utilities, add-ons. We definitely leverage add-ons as well, especially if we are working with the insurance companies. This is a different type of stay. We're going to need deep cleanings. We're going to need, what do you call it? Deposits, both refundable and non-refundable deposits. So these are really, really important. If they're booking directly on Airbnb and you really don't have a say so, that's why I don't like to go straight Instabook in all situations. There are certain situations I turn off Instabook to have a conversation with these guests. That is the way to go. Okay, so definitely your calendar. You want to make sure that you have a calendar that is open and available. Those of you who are worried about the pricing, are you even getting inquiries, right? Some of you are worried about pricing and you're not even getting inquiries. If you're not getting inquiries, then your pricing may not be competitive enough. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Or guess what? The other reason is that you're not even found on search. You're not visible on search. So really important. You want to make sure that you're visible and you are found on search. Okay. All right. So step 3, guys, I call this reading the room. Step 3, I want you to read the room because these midterm rental bookings can be quite seasonal, right? These midterm rental bookings can have a seasonality to them. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is it's not something that 100% you turn it on and you're live and you're good to go. I would say 75% of our members are able to get a booking within 30 days. The other 25% of our members are able to get a booking about 90 days to 5 months. 5 months is the longest ever. It used to be 4 months, but we had someone get a booking in 5 months and they got like 3 bookings all at once, right? So it's not, again, you want to build up to it. You want to make sure that your property is optimized and you're building up to that point. So it's not something that you turn on right away and you're able to get bookings right away. You want to turn it on as soon as possible. We pre-market to make sure that we get those inquiries. But you want to make sure that you are reading the room with your pricings. And so how do we read the room? First and foremost, the way that we are reading the room is we want to, I would say, approach your market as an end user. So let's say you pretend, and we were just on a call, if Elena's here with us, her and her hubby, we're just talking about his property in Maryland. So if you want to really ascertain and see, well, what is going on in my current market and how's the pricing looking? It's going to be so important, right? Because you do not want to be completely off script with your pricing, right? If you're, at $30,000, you're like Rachel said, hers made $28,000. So I'm just going to list mine at $28,000 and hope for the best, right? But there are a certain, I would say, attributes of our property that got us to that number. Okay. So read the room, use your filters. Filters are your friends. Go on to different platforms where people are booking properties and look at the pricing there and jot it down. What we use inside of our community is our MTR math worksheet inside of our community. It's a calculator where we look at pricing for certain brands of hotels. We compare pricing for Airbnb, Vrbo, and other platforms. There's about 8 different I would say comps that we're looking for. So we're looking for pricing for a variety of platforms to inform our pricing decision. And while we're looking at pricing, guys, we're turning on the filters to make sure that those properties have the attributes that are listed on our properties. So if, for instance, you have a property with a swimming pool, well, you want to look at the pricing for properties with a swimming pool. Okay, so our midterm rentals don't need swimming pools per se, but I just want to level set so you can understand what the pricing has to offer. The second thing is we're reading the room in terms of, well, what are the availability in your market? What is that looking like? How available are there properties in your market? So as I'm looking at the pricing, I'm looking at the pricing, I'm looking at, if I'm hitting a roadblock like, wait, there are no 3 bedrooms available, there are no 4 bedrooms available, then now you have yourself in a position of power. You've got the position of power. You're able to name your price. So we look at comps, we look at other properties that are furnished that have the same attributes at our property. We take into consideration their budget if they disclose that. And then we take the average of all of those prices and we add that to our midterm rental math worksheet. It's just click and fill in the row. It adds it up for you. It takes the average. And from there, we add our add-ons. So I have about, I want to say 20 add-ons that you may be eligible for, depending on what the needs are in that particular, for that particular family, for that particular individual, and in that particular market. Okay, so the add-ons are important as well. So the add-ons don't get averaged, the add-ons actually get added in. Once you've added in the add-ons and once you have noted to yourself what the supply and it looks like in your market, and if there's not much of a supply, guys, you have the edge. Now, if there's a plethora of supply, you have like 45 properties that are like Me Too properties, they're all the same. You don't really know how you're standing out. You don't really know how you have anything different to offer. Now you got to take a step back and have like an honest look and address that. If all of them are fully furnished and they're all listed in real time, you know, for the next 30 days, you pretend like you are the end user, you're booking for the next 30 days, you realize in real time that they are, say, you know, $4,700 to, you know, $5,200 a month. Well, that's probably where you need to stay if these are actual properties that understand this strategy and they're going to offer the unlimited extensions and everything that we share with you inside of our community. So really, really important, okay? So guys, to recap, I want to go over the 3 things that you need to consider to ensure that you are pricing your property the right way, okay? So we're talking about if you're struggling to figure out the best way to price your rental property, guys, you're not alone, but I'm really hoping that you walk away tonight with some tips and tricks and the inside scoop. You guys know that friends don't let friends leave friends behind on really getting your pricing strategy under wraps. Number 1, you leverage your dynamic pricing tool. Leverage your dynamic pricing tool. Number 2, your calendar maintenance. You want to make sure that your calendar is opened wide up to get those bookings, to get those inquiries, and you want to make sure that you're offering a nice discount to have that to get that conversation started. Okay, and last but not least, number 3, and I think this is one of the most powerful ones. Hopefully, I didn't downplay it, but number 3, it's really reading the room. You want to understand what all is available. You understand how competitive they are, right? Versus what you have going on. You understand what it is that you have to offer, right? If you have something unique to offer, you have the edge. If there is a scarcity in your market, you have the edge. But if you set up your property and it's like a Me Too property, you do not have the edge. So that's why we wholeheartedly inside of our community, we train on making sure that you are offering something to the marketplace that's a little bit different than your competitors. You recognize the top 2 amenities that everyone's asking for, but most of the hosts are not willing to put in place. And these are amenities that do not break the bank. We're not talking about hot tubs or swimming pools here at all. They're amenities that you can implement today for free. You just need to buy in with your team. We talk about calendar maintenance, where I walk you through step by step, by baby step, how to set up and update your calendar so that those automations are in place, how to create that duplicate listing and open up your calendar for those far out bookings. Because one of the biggest reasons that members in our groups are not getting those bookings for 30-day stays is because they have 2-night stays peppered all over their calendar, which is fine if you like those bookings. But if you're transitioning to a midterm rental strategy, you're going to need 30-day chunks of time open so that you have that visibility. All right. So those were the three. Let me go over them one last time. Dynamic pricing, calendar maintenance with application of that 30-day discount, and last but not least, reading the room, looking at your competitive edge. So hopefully that provided you guys a ton of value. If you're looking for support on how to get these 3 steps implemented for your short-term rental, mid-term rental property, or if you're trying to figure out how to get started altogether, I would love to welcome you into our community. We're here to help dynamic, busy professionals create a life they do not need a vacation from through real estate investing. And although I started off saying that this is not passive income, this is nearly passive income. So let me see, maybe we can drop the link. Yep, if you go to shorttermgems.com/book, you can apply, and we would love to have you on a call. All right, so let's go ahead and open up for questions. Okay, I see a question for Marcy. Hi, Marcy. Marcy said, is there a training or an outline for the steps for duplicate strategies you're talking about? That's a great question. So Marcy, we have it. I walk our members through it step by step. I would love to have you on a call to see if we're a good fit to work with you. But essentially, it's you take your same listing and you duplicate it. However, once you have duplicated it, and this is a training we have in module 4, but once you have duplicated it, you want to edit it in such a way that the AI doesn't come for you and flag your property for being, I forget the terminology they use in the policies and procedures. So essentially, we're not duplicating it to avoid, a flag or a ban. Airbnb has flagged and banned individuals who they deem to not be providing the right property or the right service level. And so for those individuals, they're not really allowed to duplicate listings, but the rest of us are allowed to. But we still want to go under the radar so that the AI is not, I would say, triggered by our listings being duplicated. So it's really important that you do it the right way. And inside of our community, I've created a white paper to show how to do so step by step. So great question. Let's see. All right, what is the name of the dynamic pricing tool? Great question. So there are a number of dynamic pricing tools. There is Price Labs, Beyond Pricing, and there's one more. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I started off with Price Labs. The reason I like Price Labs is because when the other platforms had launched, they wanted a percentage of my monthly revenue. And I just didn't feel like giving anyone a percentage of my monthly revenue. Price Labs was like 10, 15 bucks or 19 bucks at the time. And so it was just a flat rate. I wanted a flat rate. I did not want to give anyone a percentage. So I went with Price Labs, and they continue to provide amazing training and updates every single month. And some people tell me, well, there are other user friendlier options out there. But when you don't forget the guy or the gal that took you to the dance, y'all. Okay, so Price Labs have stuck by me. They took me to the dance with that 28K booking. Listen, ain't no way. There's no way that I am moving or transitioning from that platform, okay? Just saying. All right, so next question is about flexibility and pricing. Okay. Okay, so flexibility and pricing. I did mention this briefly. So when it comes to flexibility, not only is our pricing flexible, because we want to have those conversations with the temporary housing agency. So here's the deal. When the temporary housing agency reaches out, it's like it's so serious, guys. It's game on. It's like nobody breathes. We are not going to let this deal go by the wayside. It is oh so very important for us to lock this in, guys. We do not want to miss out on this because at the end of the day, these are lucrative bookings that can last us for a year. Okay, so just very, very good bookings that can last us for a year. So, what do we want to do? We want to have a conversation. We want to take this down. This is really, really important. Okay. So once you get your property, okay, we go through the process even before you purchase your property. I want to make sure that you're acquiring the right property. If you do not acquire the right property or property that I believe can get you the highest possible revenue, and you come to me, well, we're going to just do the best that we can, right? We're going to do the best that we can. And it may be $4,500 a month extra, maybe $4,700 a month extra, it may be $2,300 a month extra. It depends. We have a condo right now, a member who has a condo right now that is in Long Beach, California. He's going to make $2,700 a month extra, and he's happy with it, right? So these are not small numbers. These are great numbers, but it's not 28,000 a month, right? That's a different type of asset class. That's a different type of property. But whenever those inquiries come in, whenever those bookings come in, we have to run our analysis. We have to run through the calculator to see what is it that's going up in the market right now. Okay, we want to read the room. We want to read the room. We want to keep reading the room because that indicates for us what the temporary housing agencies, what the families are seeing as well, so that we can be more informed in our decision making to our pricing. But at the end of the day, we don't want to walk away from that deal. So we pull a variety of levers, and one of the levers are, okay, this is great that you want to offer such a lower amount per month. Let's work on getting there. My language is always, we're going to figure this out. We're going to work together. We're going to make this happen because at the end of the day, we want the same thing. We want this family in this house. We're going to get there, but who's going to pay for the utilities? Who's going to pay? So I pull those levers. I let them know that we have flexible rates. We're going to look at utilities. We're going to work with them, but the numbers have to make sense for me. The numbers have to make sense for you because you're investing, right? You're putting money into the property. So I want to make sure you understand what the property can make, what the property, is going to cost you to have it set up so that at the end of the day, you understand how you are profiting, my friends. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight. Let's connect. If you want to learn a little bit more about working with our community, go to shorttermtrends.com/join. I hope this was helpful. I hope you feel inspired to take action. I hope you feel like, okay, I know a little bit more about this midterm rental strategy. I know how it works. I have a few ideas on how to leverage the strategy to make a deal, to get a deal going, right? Oh, so very important. I love you all to the moon and back, and that is it for now. Bye-bye, guys.